Hi, this is King of Review. Find the root of the quadratic equation negative x squared plus 5x minus 4 equals 0 using the graph y equals negative x squared plus 5x minus 4. So in this problem, we want to find the root of this function here. Now let's think about roots for a minute. If we have a coordinate plane here with the x-axis and y-axis, if we were to plot a parabola like this, the roots would be right here. They're the points where they cross over the x-axis, so x-intercepts. The x-intercept is where the graph crosses or touches the x-axis. So you can see that in this case, our parabola has two roots right here. Let's look at the graph of y equals negative x squared plus 5x minus 4. That produces this parabola here. Now, where does this parabola cross the x-axis? Well, it crosses at two different points. Right here, this is at x equals 1, and it also crosses here. This is at x equals 4. So it has two roots, x equals 1 and x equals 4. So that's letter B. Now we can also solve this problem algebraically. If we have our equation y equals negative x squared plus 5x minus 4, let's think about these roots. It's these points here. The y-coordinate of an x-intercept is 0 because when a graph touches the x-axis, the y-value of that point is 0. So if we were to give this point here a coordinate, it would have some x value, but the y-value would be 0. The same goes for these points here. In this case, it has an x value. We know it's 4 already, but the y-value of that point is 0. The same for this one here. The x-coordinate is 1, but the y-value is 0. So let's apply that to our equation. Let's set y equal to 0. We have 0 equals negative x squared plus 5x minus 4. Now solve for x. So we'll factor this portion here, negative x squared plus 5x minus 4. We get 0 equals negative x plus 1 times x minus 4. One method for factoring is using the box method. So I'll enter my x squared term, which is negative x squared, right here, and I'll enter my constant term, which is a negative 4, right here. Which two terms multiply together to give negative x squared? Well, we have negative x and x. And which two terms multiply together to give negative 4? Well, 1 and negative 4 multiply together to give negative 4. Working out the rest of the box, we have negative 4 times negative x gives 4x, and x times 1 gives 1x. If you add these two boxes together, 4x plus 1x, you get 5x here. So that's how I factored and got 0 equals negative x plus 1 times x minus 4. The next step for solving for x is to consider the zero product property. When you have two numbers, let's call them a and b, and they multiply together to give 0, you know that either a or b must be 0 to get 0 for the answer. You could have a times 0 gives 0, or 0 times b equals 0. Applying that to our problem, if I set either of these two terms equal to 0, I'll get 0 for the answer. So let's do that. Let's set each term equal to 0 and solve for x. We have negative x plus 1 equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. I'll subtract 1 on both sides. I'm left with negative x equals negative 1. Now negative x is the same thing as negative 1x. So I have negative 1x equals negative 1. I'll divide by -1 on both sides, and I'm left with x equals 1. So that's one of the roots, and that's what I got here. And for this other term, I'll add 4 on both sides, and I have x equals 4. So x equals 4 is the other root, and that's what we have here. And that's also what was plotted here on the graph. Thanks for watching.